I am a Liverpudlian, and I come from the Spy Club. I love to sing, I love to shout, I get thrown out quite a lot. We support the team that's dressed in red. It's a team that you all know. It's a team that we call Liverpool, and to glory we will go. We've won the league.
Hello and welcome to the February edition of the Plastic Scousers podcast. My name is Matt Simpson and this is my co-host, the fifth most popular after-dinner speaker in the plumbing and bathroom industry. It's Owen Collins.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yes, and if you would like to book me for a speech at your plumbing and bathroom industry event, you can contact me at owentheplum, that's plum with a B, not like plum the fruit, at gmail.com. That's owentheplum at gmail.com. I've got all sorts of great jokes about taps. I've got a really good sort of game with a U-bend and a ping-pong ball, which involves a bit of audience interaction, really good icebreaker, that one. And I've got some very risque anecdotes about some very famous plumbers. I won't say who they are. I don't want to give it away, and I don't want to be done for slander. But some very famous plumbers who you've probably heard of, but you would be shocked to find out what they've got up to.
Ooh, very exciting. As we hit the shortest month of the year, we here at the Plastic Scousers will discuss all the games, goals and talking points from the month from Liverpool FC. Just 4 games this time around, but we'll still provide our usual brand of insight and irreverence nonetheless.
As well as that, we hand out Steven Gerrard's famous number 8 shirt to a player far less deserving of the accolade in our Despicable 11. We help out the squad on our recent trip to Marbella with another of our now infamous travel guides, and we test each other on some interesting facts about Liverpool players past and present as we play Call My Clough.
But first, the foot soccer, according to my script, and a home tie against a top 4 rival in Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, big game. Big game.
Big game, tough side, and we've not had too much luck over them in recent years. And certainly in the reverse fixture was one to forget. Yeah,
there was a revenge riding on this, really, wasn't there? And we put out a very strong side.
Well, of course, basically our strongest side. Jordan Henderson's in, and James Milner, in fact. It's quite a solid midfield three with Emre Can. And then the infamous front three, of course, and Loris Karius again starting as he's now number 1. Dejan Lovren in over John Matip. So I mean, it's a bold thing to do considering the last time he played Spurs.
Yeah, it is. I think I've been really impressed with how Lovren has kind of fought back into the team since January. I would almost say he's first choice partner to Van Dijk by now. Because Matip's really sort of gone off the boil. But given just the psychological barrier that maybe this game would involve, it was quite a bold pick for him.
Yeah, you've got to feel sorry for Ragnar Klavan, haven't you, at this point?
Yeah, I don't know if I feel sorry for him. I think Ragnar Klavan knows he's not more than he is. He's a solid and dependable backup, but I don't think he should be first choice.
No.
But it's a bit of a toss-up, really. You've got Van Dijk out in front, and then 3 others with not much between them, to be honest.
No, they've all got their faults, haven't they?
Yeah, they've all got sort of the same number of faults and the same number of positives. It's sort of, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the rest of the season as to who ends up our first choice centre-back partner for Van Dijk come the start next season. Well, maybe someone entirely new.
This is what I was about to say. Maybe none of them, but. Yeah, Dejan Lovren gets the nod with Van Dijk in this game, and it was well, I think before we explain the whole game, it was a very early goal, kind of set the tone for how the match was going to go, as we take the lead very early on from that man Mo Salah.
It was a poor back pass. He cut in there and just fired it across a Spurs keeper whose name has currently escaped me.
Hugo Lloris.
Hugo Lloris, thank you. For some reason I was going to say Vorm. I don't know why. He's at Swansea, isn't he?
No, he's their sub-keeper.
Oh, is he still?
Yeah, Michel Vorm's their sub-keeper, yeah.
Okay. I don't know who I'm thinking of. There's been a lot of goalkeepers moving around lately. It gets me confused. But yeah, sort of fires it across the goal and in. It's a relatively simple goal for him, really, isn't it? It's sort of the closest Mo Salah gets to a tap in, really.
Well, yes, I mean, he has scored some spectacular goals. This was one of his, it's a good striker's effort, really. He poached the ball back from the Dyer back pass. The Dyer back pass.
Hey, see what he did there.
Yes, but it kind of set the tone for the game because, well, certainly the first half we were probably more on the front foot than Spurs were, but Spurs did look threatening. I mean, they've got quite a formidable striker in Harry Kane playing for them, who always scores against us. But we did well. We should probably have taken more than a 1-0 lead into half time. But yeah, sadly that wasn't the case.
No, but it was, like I say, we did well. We were sort of on the front foot. You can't help but compare it to our previous game against Spurs, and actually, in that light, it was a fantastic performance.
Yeah, I mean, but that was our worst performance of the season, let's be frank.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, going into the second half, and Spurs really kick on at us, and our defence is very much tested.
Yeah, it was the sort of most on. I can't really think of the adjective I'm looking for, but it was the closest we've come to an onslaught for quite a while. Other than, well, probably since the end of the Man City game, when it just felt if we played another 5 minutes they'd have equalised, and just, it was literally sort of down in the bunker, siege mentality. But even when we lost to sort of Swansea and West Brom, we never had quite so much sustained pressure on our box as we did against Spurs. I've got to say, Karius came out of it looking good.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah, made a couple of great saves. The defence in front of him, all four of them, put in a hell of a shift. And Spurs were very frustrated by what we did. Until the last 10 minutes, where chaos ensues.
Yeah, it's like sort of what had been brewing and brewing and brewing over the course of the game just got, just descended into anarchy. It started with that, I hate to say it, but sensational goal from Victor Wanyama.
Yeah, it was the only way they were going to score. He'd literally just come on the pitch. Hits a strike from outside the area. Slight deflection, but it's a great effort, and Karius is beaten, and all that hard work is undone.
I mean, it was sort of, say it was a slight deflection, it was perfectly placed though. It was kind of up the top hand corner, sort of against the back corner of the net. It was it was the sort of goal that, just for the sheer power of it, you have to take your hat off to and say, yeah, fair enough, that deserved to go in.
It's hard to take, but yeah, 1-1.
It's funny because it was only last month on the podcast that we were talking about the fact he was the only Kenyan to have scored in the Premier League.
There you go.
And then he scored against us.
First game of February. So, 1-1. But as we say, chaos, because this is the 80th minute, and then 87 minutes in. Well, describe this, Owen.
Is it Kane through on goal? He's basically the last man. Karius comes out, basically slams into his legs, sends him over. It's a. I mean, you think it was a dive? I do. It
was a dive. He hasn't, because he's not really caught him. He's just gone over and pretended like he's been caught. Because Kane takes the ball around Karius, but it's clearly not in a great position to try and score, which is why Karius didn't receive a card here.
I was going to say, I don't know why it would be a penalty if it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? At least a yellow.
Yeah, well, there is that, why he wasn't booked.
Even assuming that it wasn't a dive because the ref gave it. What I mean is, from the ref's perspective, if you were convinced it was a penalty enough to give a penalty, or if convinced it was a foul enough to give a penalty, why not a card?
It's weird.
Not that I'm wishing Karius had been sent off, because I think who was our sub on the day? It was Mignolet, wasn't it? Who would inevitably.
We made all our changes by that point, so.
Oh yeah, of course we had.
So.
Oh yeah, so we might have got Andrew Robertson going in goal.
Maybe, yeah.
That would have been fun.
Not for us.
Well, you never know. He might be quite handy with his hands.
His hands. Yeah.
But justice was done ultimately. Whether it was, if you don't think it was a penalty, because Kane put it straight down the middle and Karius saved it.
Yeah, he judged it. We judged it really well. and pushes it away. It's a poor penalty, but credit to Carrius for standing strong.
And he pushed it far enough. I mean, it got to another Spurs attacker, but they managed to put it straight into the cop, which was fine. And we celebrated then as if we'd scored a winner.
Well, we thought,
which was possibly a bit premature because, what happened about 4 minutes later?
3 or 4 minutes later, Mo Salah looked like he's won it with a wonderful goal. He goes past 3 players in the box. Right, he has no right to score this, really. You know, he beats players, he's by the byline, he nudges past them. It's Lionel Messi at his finest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a really tight angle. Lloris coming out to stop him. It was a sort of Messi crossed with Dalglish in terms of a little sort of dink over Lloris.
Well, the finish is wonderful, but it's the fact he gets to that position in the first place. You know, no defenders touching him, and you think surely that's it. We've saved a penalty. It's 2-1 in front of the away the away stand because we turned ourselves around we were at the Cup in the first half, but we thought that's it. We've won this surely.
Yeah, and as I say, celebrated again like we'd won, which again, heartbreakingly, turned out to be premature.
Oh, this was not acceptable. I'm not happy about this. The first one was a dive. This is unbelievable.
I think the first one was less of a dive than this. We should point out actually that Dele Alli did actually get booked for diving to try and win a penalty at one point.
And there's the irony for you.
I mean that was a definite dive. He deserved a booking for that. But this was a dive. I think the first penalty could be argued that it was fair enough. This was a definite dive from Eric Lamela. Sort of almost backs on to Virgil van Dijk, and Dijk goes to move his foot in, realises Lamela's moving backwards. If you watch it, he actually stops his leg mid-motion and drops it before his knee hits Lamela. And Lamela drops down like he's been shot in the back of a leg.
It's pathetic. It really is.
And you can tell it's a dive because he goes down vertically. Like, I don't know how you'd have to kick someone for them to fall vertically, but he does. He goes down like a
kicked on top of the head.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like he just drops to his knees and down, and it's And with a gruesome inevitability, Kane doesn't miss a second time, and Karius doesn't save it a second time, and it's 2-2.
Completely robbed of 2 points.
Yeah. And actually, we said, the first Spurs game was the worst performance of the season. I would say this was probably the worst result of the season.
Not the worst result, but one of the most gutting.
In terms of, obviously we got 1 point, which is more than we got from some games this season, like the Swansea game and the other Spurs game. But in terms of, the euphoria when Salah scored in the 91st minute, reduced to the utter despair when Kane did in the 95th, and just I think in that respect, like Man City, you knew we were going to lose from about an hour in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
This felt so cruelly snatched away from us. In the same way that I would say, like, that game against Borussia Dortmund was a better result than had we beaten them 5-0.
I guess, in terms of where we thought we were.
I think just less so in quite a subjective, like, emotive way. This was, I think, a worse result than the Spurs or Man City one. Yeah. Because it was having something given to you and snatched away rather than just being completely pounded to begin with.
Considering you've been cheated out of us, yeah.
Especially given we were cheated out of it.
So, 2 points dropped at home. Not great. Not a great start to February. But we quickly moved on to the next weekend. And a trip to the South Coast. Yeah,
to play Manuel Pellegrini again. No?
Pellegrino.
The other one.
Mauricio Pellegrino.
Mauricio Pellegrino.
No, Pellegrini.
I always get those two mixed up. Yeah.
They look so similar.
They should be so lucky, I tell you. Southampton should be so lucky to have him. I think he's a much underrated manager. But, anyway, down to the South Coast again. A return to the orange strip, which is always nice to see.
Done pretty well in that. Yeah,
we're still unbeaten. Didn't ever look like that was going to change in this game, really, did it?
No, Southampton have not had a good season at all. They are, first in the relegation, not playing good football. I mean, And their former manager is doing well at Leicester, so, you know.
Which is, I don't think is a surprise at all. He did so well with Southampton last year that I do not get why they sacked him.
No, well, sometimes, you know.
Especially to bring in who they did. It's not like it was an upgrade, do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. And the funny thing is that, you know, it was the Southampton fans, not this is a Southampton podcast, but the fans were basically saying they didn't like the football. And they didn't like the way they were playing. But they finished, 7th and got to the League Cup final?
Yeah, and they got to Europe, and it was. Well, be careful what you wish for, is a moral there, isn't it?
Exactly.
But yeah, they've had a terrible season by their standards, and it didn't look like it was going to get any better for them today. This was just us dominant, really.
Yeah, it's very, very comfortable. I mean, it has proved difficult, Southampton. You know, we didn't score against them at all last season, as we've talked about. Of course, we did win the home fixture of this 3-0 earlier in the season. And yeah, it was a fairly comfortable game in the end. Starting out with another defensive error, costing our opposition, eventually leading to Firmino scoring.
Yeah, great little assist from Mo Salah. You know, he's been getting all the plaudits for his goals this season, but this was absolutely excellent assist. Kind of works it in onto the edge of the area. I mean, it's a highlight for just how badly Southampton are doing. That you basically had the most fearsome threesome in the league, all of whom basically unchallenged on the edge of their area. I mean, Salah squared it perfectly for Firmino to just tap home, but if Firmino hadn't got it, Mane was literally right behind him and would have buried it.
Well, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, an easy goal. A great assist from Salah, not to do that down, but a really, really easy goal.
Yeah, and it's just funny you mentioned Mane, because of course we have quite a long list of former Southampton players in our squad, a few of whom started today, the most interestingly, of course, being Virgil van Dijk's return to the South Coast.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, there's a enormous list of players now in the last few years that have come from St Mary's to Anfield. Like you say, 3 of them were playing. No, 2 of them, sorry, were in the starting lineup today. Another 2 were on the bench, and alongside those you had Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who came via Arsenal. But
yeah, and actually Danny Ings was originally a Southampton player in his youth days.
Was he actually? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from Winchester.
Well, a lot of people are from Winchester. Doesn't mean they play for Southampton.
It's not a lot, mate. Trust me. Being from the South Coast, if you're from anywhere nearby, Southampton is the only place you want to go play football, really.
Well, that might all be changing soon with Bournemouth in the ascendancy.
That's very true. But yeah, no. So basically, half the squad list were at Southampton at one point or another.
In fact, wasn't it Bournemouth? Danny Ings played for Bournemouth as well, actually.
He did, yeah. And Adam Lallana was born in Bournemouth, so.
Well, a lot of people were born in Bournemouth.
There you go.
But here's tonight's quiz, Matt. Were more people born in Bournemouth or Winchester?
Winchester. Do you know what? I would probably guess Winchester because it's been around longer.
That is a very good point. We'll go with that.
The first capital of England, of course.
Was it actually?
Yeah, before the Norman invasion, Winchester was the capital of England.
I did not know that.
There you go. We're learning today, guys.
I'm learning a lot about Winchester tonight. Go on, give me more Winchester facts.
Ooh, that's tricky. They have I think it was one of the first all boys schools in the country. I think was there, Winchester College. I'll have to come up with some more, I think.
Oh, that's a good one. I know one good fact about Winchester.
Go on.
It's where Jane Austen's buried.
Oh, of course it is, yeah. And of course the Winchester was the fictional pub in Shaun of the Dead.
Indeed. Yeah, what a film.
Which is now called the Boogaloo. True story.
It's not actually anywhere near where it's set either, is it?
No, the real pub, the pub they shot in, I think, is in Highgate? Or near there, anyway.
But the outside is South London, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, the pub they shot in was I've driven past it a few times. This is off topic here.
It is, but what else do you expect from plastic Scousers?
There we go. After the early goal and some other defensive lapses from Southampton that nearly put us in for more. Southampton did create one or two opportunities, but we always looked fairly comfortable with it, Never particularly felt threatened, and whenever we went forward, we looked like we could score again.
Yeah, and eventually we did.
We did, it's an excellent goal.
Again, Salah does overwork, really.
Well,
not overwork, but he starts to move. That's
alright. So Salah picks up the ball in the middle of the pitch, runs at a couple of defenders, plays it to Firmino. Firmino, without even looking, wonderful back heel, back to Salah, who was on the run. Great little finish, 2-0.
Yeah, just complete dominance from Mo Salah, really. I wouldn't say we were a one-man team, but he was just absolutely tearing them apart in this game. He is sort of a player at his best when he's not even at his best, if you know what I mean. He's just in imperious form, and didn't even have to hit top gear, didn't even have to approach top gear in this.
No, Southampton kind of gave us that. There's very little else to say about the game, really, because the second half was a bit of a non-entity. Southampton did nothing. We, never got out of second gear, and the game ended 2-0 without so much as a whimper.
Yeah, one thing I did find interesting was, we managed to bring on Adam Lallana with 10 minutes to go, and a former Southampton player, and with about 1 minute to go, Danish Lovren came on, for reasons I really can't fathom, given that we didn't need to shore up defensively, because Southampton weren't offering much in attack. I cannot feel it was really just so we could soak up the adoration of the home fans.
Daniel Lovren being one of their favourite former players, of course.
Yeah, always guaranteed a warm, friendly reception when he returns to St Mary's, isn't he?
Like Sterling at Anfield.
Yeah, it just almost felt like Jurgen Klopp was trolling the Southampton fans. You know what I mean?
I do understand what you mean by that. Yeah.
But a good win, a good sort of return to form after the Spurs disappointment.
So I think fairly good, and 3 more points on the board. A potentially tricky tie out the way, particularly because we get back into Europe.
Yes. It was nice to have a sort of low energy game because we were heading to Portugal.
We were
on Wednesday evening. Well, slightly before Wednesday evening, probably.
And when we say we mean Liverpool, not us two.
Yeah, no, I've never been to Portugal.
You've never been to Portugal?
No, have you?
No. Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, whereabouts?
Oh god, we had a villa. Is it the Algarve? No, that's Spain.
That's Birmingham, isn't it? Villa?
No, we had a villa.
Right.
Is it the Algarve in Portugal? I think it is, right? I think
yeah.
We went with the Algarve a couple of times. Had a villa out there. Like we hired one. That's my extent. I've got a friend from Portugal, of course, who we've discussed in this podcast before.
I've met him. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Pedro. So
nice chap.
Yeah, fascinating facts we've learnt about Winchester and Portugal so far today.
Yeah. This is basically a Michael Palin documentary.
With football added on top.
Well, on top, on the bottom, depending on...
I would watch a football match with Michael Palin and Sir David Attenborough. That would be a great game to watch.
What, playing?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Or commentating.
I'd commentating, definitely. David Attenborough commentating on football would be amazing. Watching David Attenborough play football would be horrible. You'd basically be watching him die.
And as he walks majestically down the right-hand side of the pitch, Mo Salah picks the ball up and finishes it majestically around the goalkeeper.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I'd quite like you to describe all of the goals from our next tie in that voice.
Oh, there's too many.
Or at least 3 of them.
Okay. We're in Portugal for our first leg of our last 16 Champions League match against FC Porto.
Yeah. How did we think this was going to go before it started?
Well, we both thought it'd be tough. We thought probably a draw would be a good result, particularly with the second leg being at Anfield.
A couple of away goals.
If we could get a couple of away goals, that'd be great. I'd have taken one away goal, either side. But what we didn't expect was what happened.
What? One away goal for either side?
No, one away goal. No, what did I say?
You said one away goal either side, and I'm not sure what either side of what.
Half time.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Maybe.
We'll go with that. Yeah, good save, good save.
We got a few more than that, didn't we?
We did. We got considerably more than a draw as well.
This was absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, again, really strong lineup, which is what you'd expect in a Champions League last 16 match. Where do we begin, David Attenborough? Where do we begin?
We begin, quite obviously, at the beginning.
That's Julie Andrews.
Hey, don't insult Julie Andrews' name like that.
Insulting her name.
To be fair, for the first 20 odd minutes, it's actually Porto who are applying the early pressure on us, have a couple of chances, put one over the bar, good block from Lovren. But on the 25th minute, we take the lead.
We do. Through a man who has been having a bit of a struggle of late. Would you say? Is that fair?
Yeah, he's not having the best of seasons and seems to be struggling for form and confidence a little bit, particularly in the shadow of Firmino and Salah. Sadio Mane.
Yeah, it's weird because last season he was our best player.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine that anymore. Like last season, it feels so long ago, a time when we didn't have Salah scoring every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It really does.
But to think that Mane was our best player last season, it feels mad.
He's I mean, at the moment he's the weakest of the whole front three. You know, Bobby Firmino's just gone up another level this season.
Well, you know, it's horrible to say, but yeah, he is the weakest of front three, and so, I mean, this first goal wasn't anything special, really, was it?
No, I mean it's a good finish. Some good work from Wijnaldum to take a shot on. And then it falls to Mane, who has a shot. It's not great, but the keeper has an absolute howler, and it's 1-0.
Yeah. And we've got our away goal.
We do have our away goal, thanks to their poor goalkeeping. It didn't take us long to double that.
No, so much for either side of half time. This goal. This goal is worthy of being described in David Attenborough fashion, but before you do, it is probably my favourite goal that Mo Salah's ever scored.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's basically, am I right in saying it's a perfect hat-trick in one goal?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Without the ball touching the ground.
Yeah, it's just sublime. But take it away, Mr. Attenborough. Sir Attenborough, apologies.
Before we discuss Mo Salah, we must look to the majestic and delightful James Milner, who does well to take a shot on, connects ever so sweetly with the post. By this point, the ball is in front of Salah, with the goalkeeper pressuring him as well as the defenders. So wouldn't it be so wonderful for him to juggle the ball, right foot, header, left foot, over the keeper, to away from the defender, and to tap it into an empty net. Truly one of the great spectacles of our time.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And I don't mean my voice, I mean the goal.
I mean, the voice gave it a sort of a magnificence and a magnitude it was worthy of as well. Just as I say, it was a perfect hat-trick and it was only one goal.
Just again, it's like Messi. Just like, it's remarkable.
We've got our two away goals. This is going great.
It's going really well. I mean, Porto did look threatening for that first half, and Karius made a good save, but going into half-time 2-0 up, feeling very confident. This is as long as we don't do anything stupid, we're golden for the second leg.
And I actually felt right with this because, it's not that I didn't trust us to not do something stupid, because that Seville game has stopped me doing that forever. But even if we did something stupid in this game, right? Like, say we do what we did against Seville and throw away a lead to draw, or we ship 3 goals in the second half, doesn't matter. We've got 2 away goals.
Yeah, and we'd only be 1 behind at that stage.
Yeah, so even if we'd lost 3-2, that would have been a good result in a way. I mean, not having led, but if he'd said 3-2 defeat at the start, we'd have taken that, right?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But of course, Porto in the second half had to come out and go for it in front of their home fans. They need to go and get back into it, which plays wonderfully into our hands. And 10 minutes after half time, it's 3.
It is, and it's Sadio Mane again. And I would say again, it's not the greatest of goals.
Well, it's a good break. Firmino does really well and has his shot saved. Mane's there to calmly and composedly put it in for 3.
Yeah, just sort of tucks in the rebound. Really, it's not exorbitant amount of skill, but it's nice to see the guy smiling, and it's nice to get a as we said, he needed his confidence, so it's good to see him get on the score sheet again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting better and better. Yeah, and then it takes us. Well, basically the game is over by this point.
Totally.
But we decide to rub salt into the wounds, and every time we go forward, we think we can score again. And we make it 4.
Yeah, I can't remember this one too well, actually.
It's great work on the left-hand side from James Milner, who had an amazing game. He deserved a score in this match. He'd been absolutely incredible. Really good work on the left-hand side, down the wing. Puts it across brilliantly. Firmino on the run, finishes it well, and it's 4.
Fair enough.
So, it's just mad. We're 4-0 up away from home at the probably Portuguese champions. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's not like we're playing Spartak Moscow or Maribor again. Do you know what I mean? This was a bloody good side. And then a sight I think every Liverpool fan wanted to see. 85th minute.
Danny Ings is playing.
Yeah. Well, damn that. Yeah, that's not what I was getting at, but I'm glad you mentioned it.
Oh, I thought that's what you were going to say.
No, but fair enough. Danny Ings' Champions League debut, I believe.
2.5 years after signing for us, whatever it was.
2 years after signing for us. Comes on with 10 minutes to go. And he was delighted. And it's it's nice to see for the lad.
Considering the hard work and all the pain he's had to go through to get there, I was delighted for him. And he gets in with an assist as well. Yeah,
it'd be nice if he started scoring a bit. He's obviously not scored for us since October
2015.
2.5 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, what I was getting at, the site we wanted to see, was Sadio Mane complete a hat-trick for the first time in his Liverpool career.
He does. It's a great strike. He could easily pass it to players around him, but he takes it on himself. He wants the hat-trick. Into the bottom corner. And that... Yeah.
That was a goal worthy of a hat-trick as well, do you know what I mean? The first two I say weren't great goals. That one was a great goal, and it was worthy of being the one that kind of got him the match ball.
Yep, and he certainly does take home the match ball. 3 goals. We've won 5-0 away in the Champions League last 16.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Breathtaking.
And if you look at our last, I think 4 out of our last 5 Champions League games, you got 5-0 against Porto, 7-0 against Spartak Moscow, 3-0 against Maribor, 7-0 against Maribor. That's 4 of our last 5 games of the Champions League. Absolutely insane.
By the way, don't forget, even with that severe draw, we scored 3 times.
Yeah. So what's that? An aggregate score across those 5 games of 10, 17, 20, 25 goals to 3.
Amazing.
Plus 22 goal difference over the last 5 games of the Champions League. Remarkable.
And 28 goals overall in the whole Champions League, which is the most any team had scored at this point. I don't know at time of recording if that's still true, but I'd assume it must be. Time
of recording, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I know that Bayern Munich have scored a load of goals, but I don't think they scored enough. There's now 12 goals without reply in 2 Champions League games. My favourite stat is the fact that Milner has the most Champions League assists with 7. That's 7 in 7 games, which is 3 more than anybody else.
James Milner.
Incredible.
What a player. What a player. He's just... I don't know why Barcelona bothered with Coutinho when Milner was available.
Oh, I know, considering what he is technically about 140 million quid cheaper, so...
He won't be any more.
No, he's definitely worth a few bob. Even at 32, he's still worth a few bob.
Yeah, I'd buy him.
Yeah, I'd buy him a drink.
I'm that. I mean, I just buy him just to own him. I quite like to own James Milner.
You just want to have him in the corner of the room?
No. Keep him in the middle, just in the centre of the room.
Just
as a sort of feature.
Would you get him to do things, or?
Yeah.
Like, a bit of the washing up.
As in, like, help around the house, or like before.
Yeah, like, like clean the dishes, or do the hoovering or something.
I mean, I'm notoriously bad at that sort of thing, so any help would be appreciated. If he wanted to, like, put the bins out and stuff. I think I'd also just get him to, like, juggle.
Oh right, okay. Well,
he strikes me
like football juggle, or like hands juggling?
Hands.
Oh, okay.
More control. He strikes me as a man who could juggle.
But not a man who could football juggle.
That, but I'd rather he did it with his hands if he's in the living room. What's
your ideal juggling implement?
Probably balls.
You don't like juggling sticks?
I've got nothing against them, Matt. I just think that, I don't have the biggest living room. Balls are quite small, they're more contained. You can do more with more of them without taking up so much space as with the battens. You have to throw the battens a bit higher to get them sort of looking good, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is very true.
What else can you juggle with? Scarves? You
can juggle those fire sticks, can't you? People do that.
Yeah, maybe do that outside in the summer. I don't think I'd have them do it in the middle.
Yeah, you need to practice that a bit more as well. Yeah. Interesting.
Worth bearing in mind.
5-0. 5-0. Meaning we're in for a slightly unusual second leg where at Anfield we're not quite sure what's going to happen. So that's next month for you.
Yeah. I mean, I know what I'm hoping would happen. I was hoping we'd just play the under-23s. But, alas, 'twas not to be.
No.
So it was back to Anfield. I'm going to just say before we move on, it was the orange kit again.
Yeah, the Porto game, yeah.
That orange kit.
It was totally unnecessary because we could have played red and, wouldn't have been a problem. FC Porto playing blue and white.
I think we should play an orange every week, to be honest.
It does seem to be doing well. It does seem to be doing well, doesn't it? So.
It does.
Yeah.
But it was in red for our next game because it was a home tie.
Yep, the last match of February.
Indeed, and a nice Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, as is traditional. Against David Moyes' West Ham United, who were sort of stabilising by this point.
Well, so we thought.
So we thought. As much as anyone can stabilise below 9th in the league this year. Yeah. Unless you're West Brom, who have stabilised quite well at the bottom. But yeah, I mean, I think we were both quite confident of a win in this game.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham have been all over the place, and we've done pretty well against them. We've won 4-0 and 4-1 at London Stadium over the last 2 games. Which times we played them?
Yeah.
At home, not quite so sure, but yeah, we thought we could do well. Of course, nothing particularly notable about our team lineup. Oxlade-Chamberlain was in, playing in central midfield. More interestingly, actually, was the fact that there was a player who's making his first start for West Ham, who Liverpool fans know and detest very well. Yeah.
We won't go into the politics of why or whether it's right that they do, because it's a controversial subject. But Patrice Evra, was lining up for the opposition, and I'm not sure how I feel about him still being booed by Liverpool fans.
I disagree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things we should let go. I don't think it reflects very well on us as a team or as a club anymore.
No, that's true. I would say.
I mean, I don't like him, but
he kicked a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess knowing what we know now, he's probably perfect for West Ham. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why they bought him.
Well, to fight the fans off.
Well, just because the stewarding at the Olympic Stadium is so bad that they needed to get a player who was also capable of keeping the fans in check.
Well, he's wide on the left, so you can keep him off the touchline.
Yeah, basically, when he's not playing, he's got a orange high-vis jacket on, and he's just running up and down the advertising hoardings, kicking fans in the chest to stop them encroaching on the pitch. It's really a remarkable piece of business by David Moyes. I don't know why he didn't do it sooner.
Oh, fantastic.
But not many surprises in our team, as you say. James Milner was captain. It was a fairly comfortable game again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, West Ham did have their moments. We hit the post very early on. Mo Salah hit cut across the ball and was very unlucky not to score. But Arnautovic did cause us one or two problems. He brought a brilliant save out of Loris Karius after he basically, from out of nowhere, Arnautovic tries to chip him and almost gets it right. Karius pulls out one hell of a save. And dare he say it, on the subject of Karius, actually, he's actually starting to prove himself. He's had a very good February, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, I was going to mention this earlier, actually. It makes me wonder if that all he needed all along was just to be told he was number one.
Maybe. But wasn't he...
Do you know what I mean? Because he came in...
He was, though, at the start of last season.
Well, he was injured for the very start of last season. And then when he came in, it was sort of not exactly coming in as number one, but just coming in as, like... He sort of was number one, but he not proved himself, and he immediately looked a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
And never really kind of established himself as number one. And since he got dropped after, was it the Bournemouth game?
Yeah.
We've not really known who the number one is. So for more than a year, we didn't really know whether we had a number one, whether we had two number ones, two number twos, whether we had a number one who was Welsh and just never played, which was a disgrace. Whether it was Alex Manager.
Oh, yeah, he was with us for a bit.
Yeah, last season. That seems so long ago.
Indeed, the Hungarian, who's still at the club.
Yeah, which is like, was he now fifth choice? I mean, he's been like fifth choice for so long that it seems bizarre to think he was second choice 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As recently as like 18 months ago, Adam Bogdan was our sort of second choice.
Conceding goals from corners, left, right, and centre.
Well, that's not enough to be first choice these days. But,
how do you concede a corner from the centre of the pitch is beyond me, but there we go.
Yeah, that's true. that centre in the middle.
Yeah,
that corner.
Centre corner. In itself an oxymoron. And like Bogdan, who's just a more... No, let's not do that.
You could have anyway, but yeah, I do think like so much of goalkeeping is obviously confidence, and he didn't really appear to have much for a long time. And since being told he's number one, which I would say I felt was undeserved based on his performances so far this season, but since then in January he's been brilliant.
I was going to say this is the best month I can remember our goalkeeper having for us this season, or indeed, I can't remember Simon Mignolet having many months like this.
No, well, Mignolet's had a couple of spells like this, but they are only months. Do you know what I mean? He'll have a good month and he'll like not let a goal in for weeks, and then he'll just go back to being Simon Mignolet. Karius was really, fair play, and he's starting to look a bit like Johnny Peacock.
He is a little bit, yeah.
Facially, rather than anatomically.
And so we ended up taking the lead. Through a corner, strangely enough. We don't really score often from corners, but this man has already done so twice this season in Emre Can.
Yeah, comes in from the right-hand side. It looked like Van Dijk was going to get it at first. He didn't really notice Can sort of stood directly behind Van Dijk, and then all of a sudden he was celebrating. Do you know what I mean? It was quite an enigmatic goal.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, like you say, we don't score many from set pieces generally. So, doubly satisfied in that respect.
And it's a weird one with Emre Can, isn't it? He's now said that he's not going to make a decision on his future until the end of the season. We know Juventus are interested. We know Liverpool have offered a contract. Bayern Munich apparently are now interested as well. So I don't know why he'd think of leaving.
Well, the reason is that he's not got the contract he wants. And they're refusing to give him a contract he wants. Now, sadly, it's a sort of modern footballer case where the contract he wants is, if it's contractual reasons why you're leaving, then it's because you want more money.
Yep.
And he clearly feels he's not getting paid enough, or they've not put a big enough release clause in, or something like that. And he's, I think that's it. I think he wouldn't sign a new contract without a release clause.
That's right.
I think the club were actually happy to pay him the increased wages, but they didn't want to put the release clause in. Now, whether they disagreed over how much that should be or that it should exist at all, but it's a very petty hill to die on, really.
I mean, yeah, why would you want to go to Juventus instead? Do you know what I mean?
Juventus are having a good season, to be honest.
Well, they are, but they were second in the league until recently. And to be honest with you, they should have been knocked out of the Champions League. Spurs bottled it, so...
Yeah, but Spurs always bottle it.
True.
Like, that's not Juventus' fault.
Yeah. Well, either way. Emre Can gives us the lead. It turns out to be the only goal of the half where West Ham did look, as I say, particularly on Arnautovic, it caused us a few problems, but we didn't necessarily look at our best. Yeah, it wasn't the best half of football we've ever played.
No. I mean, we didn't look like particularly under threat, I don't think, but...
one mistake, particularly with, West Ham were causing us one or two issues, and I think one mistake and it could have been a very different game.
Yeah, and it's a sort of game that does hinge on those sort of mistakes. Thankfully, like you say, we go in at half-time 1-0 up, and as we come out, we're sort of pretty dominant again straight away. And it's not long before we've doubled our lead into the second half.
That man again.
Mo Salah la la la, says la 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 la. Have we talked about that song yet?
Well, no, that's not the song I'm thinking. There's a different one. There's a couple.
Which one are you thinking of?
So there's two. There's Mo Salah, running down the wing. Mo Salah, he's the Egyptian king. It's that one.
What? Remind me what tune that's to.
Sit Down by James.
That's it. Yeah.
There's that one. But what are you?
I remember there's one to the tune of another great Britpop hit, which was Good Enough by Dodgy.
Right.
If he's good enough for me, he's good enough for you. If he scores another 2, then I'll be Muslim too. If he's good enough for you, he's good enough for me. He's sitting in a mosque, that's where I wanna be. Mo Salah la 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 la. Mo Salah la 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 la. Mo Salah la 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 la.
I think we've got that.
Mm.
I do remember that. That was on I saw some YouTube footage. I think you sent me that.
Yeah, I think I might have done. Yeah. It's got a really good response from across the across the community, like from outside of football, just because it's so kind of unashamedly accepting of his sort of Muslim faith, and like loads of like Liverpool faith leaders have been head over heels for it. It's great.
That's not the song though. That wasn't the one that went viral over February. Actually, it's one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and which is the one I think it's to. Sugar, honey, honey, that one.
The Archies, yeah. The Salah, da 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 da. Oh, money, money.
Da 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 da.
And Bobby Firmino.
But we sold Coutinho.
Well, that doesn't matter because we've got
Salah.
Etc.
Etc. Yeah, that guy became a bit of an internet famous legend, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he pissed a lot of people off.
Why?
I think it was the moustache.
It
was very Scouse.
Yeah, it's very funny though.
It was a good song.
Yeah, good songs that have come out of the club this month.
Yeah. Nothing can quite beat the Torben Peachnik song, as we've discussed on this podcast previously.
Absolutely.
Anyway, where were we?
He scores the second after some great work from Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Oh, it's phenomenal work from Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Beats two defenders, and then he sort of half falls over and still manages to play a blinding pass into Salah, and Salah does the rest. Yeah,
he sort of gets... It's remarkable, really, because he gets tackled and still gets the ball through, even though it's like... It's not... They didn't play the man instead of the ball. They played the ball, but for some reason, it's like he took a bullet for the ball. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
He got tackled, and it's like he said to the ball, "Don't worry, you go. I've got this." And he went down instead of the ball, and yeah, he allowed himself to be the one that fell rather than have the ball go.
Absolutely, but Salah anticipates it, finishes it well, deservedly 2-0 up, and very quickly we make it 3.
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of tell as Salah's goal went in, you could sort of see West Ham sag a bit. Was it Emre Can, the next goal not long afterwards? Yeah, about 6 minutes later, plays it over the top of the defence for Firmino. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He takes it around the keeper, and he does that cheeky Firmino thing of looking the other way while he puts it in the back of the net.
Yeah, do you know that at this point 19% of his goals have been no look?
That's absolutely insane.
There's that many times. But I tell you what that means. It's the sign of how we play, in that we're always, because we run into the box and there's so many players there, he's always in a good position to sort of tap into an empty net. And so he's able to do that so many times. I
mean, it was a beautiful ball from Jan to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, he does, and Firmino gets the ball, just touches it round Adrian as he comes flying out of his goal.
I mean, the cross pass, I'm not really sure if it was horizontal enough to be a cross, just sort of draws Adrian out of his goal just far enough that Firmino's got that sort of open goal. Like, he's kind of played it to Firmino, but away from Firmino enough that Adrian thinks he's got a reasonable enough chance of getting it to run out off his line.
Yeah.
It was fantastic assist.
Brilliant goal. And it's 3-0, and it's all over by the look of it. Or is it?
Well, there was a bit of a rally, a late rally from West Ham. Not that late, but a bit too late, shall we say?
Yeah, so basically it's an error from Emre Can, who's been involved a lot in this game by the look of it. Yeah. A goal, an assist, and then an error leading to a goal. He loses the ball in midfield. Shekiati nicks it off him, plays it to Antonio, who'd literally only just come on a minute before. Runs in on goal. It's a great finish underneath Karius, right at the bottom corner. It's 3-1, and I think I'm right saying Mikel Antonio has scored pretty much every game he's played against us.
Does it go off a post? It looks
just about, yeah.
Close. Yeah. Because the post has played quite a big part in this game as well. I think Arnautovic and Salah both hit it quite early on in the first half. So between the post and Emre Can, no one else has really done anything.
No. But there we go.
But yeah, like you say, Mikel Antonio, he's been injured for most of the season. He's actually a player I quite like. Not like the look of, but like I got a bit of time for him. So
yeah,
I'm quite pleased to see him.
He's a good player, and he's quite underrated, I think.
I think he deserves to be on better than West Ham.
Yeah, I think I could see him playing for a top half side, no problem.
Yeah, maybe someone like Leicester
or Everton. Yeah, I was going to say.
I thought you said a top half side.
Well, they are technically. So.
Bloody hell! That's how bad it's got on the bottom end of the season, bottom end of the table.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, it's 3-1. Just, but I mean, even after that, we just kept going forward. Mane hit the post when he should have scored. Don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I do. He was played through nicely by, was it Firmino?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sort of one-on-one with keeper and hits it against the post. As I say, played a big part in this game, that post.
But
and then
he does get his goal eventually, a few minutes before the end of the game.
He does, and it's a lovely cross this time from Andy Robertson.
Yeah, great work on the left-hand side, whips it in, anticipates it better, and tips it in, again off the post, interestingly.
Yeah, just beats Adrian to it. Actually, it's really nice that Robertson got the assist for that one, because something we didn't mention in the Porto game was obviously Mane, having scored a hat-trick, was entitled to take the match ball home with him. Robertson saw one of the ball boys making off with it, and so chased after the ball boy, took the ball off him and wanted to give it to Mane.
Bloody children.
I tell you what, Andy Robertson is possibly my new favourite Liverpool player.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's brilliant. He's in fact, as we've just talked about the last game of this game, but then there's something else I want to highlight with Andy Robertson.
Okay, well, I mean that's pretty much the rest of the game from that point on. Ended up a very comfortable 4-1 victory. Milner, by the way, who was also brilliant against Porto, was incredible in this game as well. Just completely orchestrated play from midfield, and I think sort of very quietly cementing himself as a staple of our midfield for the rest of the season, I think.
Is it time to ask, or posit the question, whether he should be our full-time captain?
I don't think that's an unfair question to ask. Whether or not it's the right thing to do, I don't know. I'm not really in a position to say that. But, I mean, I think if Henderson left this summer, which could happen, I don't see it. I don't know whether I could see him staying longer term, and Milner stayed with us. Yes, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing is that going forwards, obviously, he's the other side of 30 now. he's not going to be playing more games. He's only going to be playing less as the years go by. So it's probably not a wise choice to be captain.
So if it wasn't him or Henderson, who would it be? Because I know who I pick.
Well, I think it would probably be, ironically, it would probably be Chan.
See, no, I don't agree.
I mean, I think if he wasn't leaving, or if there hadn't been the whole contract thing, I think he would be the sort of natural next choice. As a sort of dominant, bossy midfielder, I think he would be kind of a natural fit for it. More likely, though, I would say probably Van Dijk.
See, I don't agree with either of those, and I tell you for why. If you look through that entire squad, that entire first 11, every position, who is the player most guaranteed to start in their position every game? Or every important game? Because I think there's only one answer to that.
Yeah. But, I mean, the question there is Trent Alexander-Arnold too young for the captaincy?
Thing is, I know you're joking, but on FIFA I made him my captain, so...
How did he handle the responsibility?
Pretty well. We won the Champions League, so...
Wow, that is pretty well. There we go. That's proof. Alexander-Arnold for future Liverpool captain.
I don't. As long as he stays, I think you're absolutely right. However, I'd give it to Bobby Firmino.
Oh, that's that's genuinely not who I thought you were going to say.
Really?
Well, I gave Alexander-Arnold as a joke answer, thinking that you actually meant Karius.
No. Bobby, think about how we play and who are the most important players in that team. No one is more important than Bobby Firmino.
But I don't think that's necessarily the point of the captain. I don't think.
But he leads by example.
I think it's. I think you've got it the wrong way around. I think they're not captain because they're most important player. I think they should be one of the most important players because they're captain.
No, because then Henderson would be more important than he is. Ooh,
yeah, but
I've caught him out there.
Well, no, I mean, it's difficult to phrase what I mean, but
do you not agree that the whole way we play is based around him?
Yeah, but
I think he would lead by example from the front.
I don't think he's got enough. He would, and he's a good. I think he's very likeable, but I don't think he's captain material. I don't think he's the sort of if you're 1-0 down against Swansea and you've got 10 minutes to go, I don't think he's give the others a bollocking and get them to pull their socks up tight.
No, because what he'll do instead is just chase the ball down again and again like he does all the time.
But he can do that without being captain. That's not the point of the captain. The captain is someone who needs to, as well as playing how they normally play, needs to actually be a leader on the pitch. Not just lead by example, but actually give the others a kick up the arse when they need it. And I don't think Bobby's that kind of player.
Maybe I'm wrong.
To be that
was something that went through my mind the other day.
I see what you're saying. It's an interesting thought, and it will be interesting to see because I think probably of our sort of starting 14, shall we say, our most regular 14 starters, I think probably one of the people whose position is least secure is Henderson.
Oh, 100%.
And after that, just for reasons of his age, Milner. So I think it's only a matter of time before we are seeing a new captain. So, it's a conversation we got to start having soon.
There you go. Well, anyway,
maybe
Andy Robertson, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not yet. I think he's not been there long enough, but one day I can see it happening.
I think I could see Van Dijk more than Robertson, just because of the way he organises that back four,
Yeah. He's a sort of hippier model.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, this is 4-1, a very, very good end, a great end, in fact, to what should have been a perfect month. 3 wins and a draw that was stolen away from us, but I can't really complain overall. So, and we'll move on, of course, and we'll look at March next month. But for now, Owen, what are we up to?
We are up to our Despicable 11.
I love it. We're getting towards the back end of this feature, and it's going to get quite interesting over the next few weeks or 2 months, I think.
Yeah, we're getting towards the front end of a team as well. Matt, remind us, for those irregular listeners, how this feature works and who have we already got in our 11?
Well, I find that slightly insulting that you call our listeners irregular, but there we go.
You should see the hosts.
The Despicable 11 is our monthly feature in which we try to find the worst and the most despicable players for each position, 1 to 11, in a Liverpool team that have played in the Premier League. So we are going through by shirt numbers. So in a typical sort of 4-4-2 formation that we're, maybe more like a sort of 4-4-1-1, which we'll explain next month and the month after. But so far we're up to the number 8. We've got our 1 through 7. Owen, I'm always the one who has to list out the 7, so it's your turn. Tell us who we've got so far.
That's because it was always my turn to do it with the greatest 8 Z last year.
It's very true, yeah.
We've got Adam Bogdan in goal. We've got Paul Konchesky at left back.
Indeed.
We've got Istvan Kozma.
Yes.
Somewhere.
You see that now? He's like, oh no, I haven't learnt it.
We have got
Istvan Kozma's number 4, defensive midfielder.
Yeah, of course he is. We've got our right midfielder, which we arranged last time.
Which was?
Oh.
This is great.
Was it Antonio Nunes?
It was because we didn't really have anyone else.
Yeah, I mean we were quite short on options this time, I think. But
yeah, I think just to put you out your misery. Number 2 is right back, your favourite player, Philip Dagan.
Oh, how the f*** could I forget Dagan?
I know, you always do. You always do.
Pellegrino's in there as well, isn't he?
It is. Southampton manager, soon not to be, and the man you mentioned earlier.
Torben Pichnik.
Exactly. They're our centre-backs, so...
I'll tell you what it is, right? There's 3 players, and I don't know why, who I always get mixed up with each other, and it's Torben Pichnik, Frode Kipper, and Istvan Kozma.
Frode Kipper, wow.
Yeah, you remember Frode Kipper?
He was a goalkeeper, right?
No, you're thinking of Frode Keeper.
That wasn't as funny as I made out to be.
Yes, it was. Shut up. Also, how could you not forget from our Liverpool cracker jokes last season? How does the Norwegian defender get rid of his fish?
Frode Kipper.
Frode Kipper.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Thank you. I always get those 3 players mixed up, and so if I've said one, I think I've said all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
When I said Kozma, I thought I said Pichnik as well, just because they are one homogenous lump of awful.
Yeah, in the Graham Souness era of awful.
Absolutely.
But today we are, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, doing the number 8, Steven Gerrard's famous number, and Steven Gerrard's position as an attacking midfielder. So whereas at number 4 we looked at players in the mould of, who did we look at number 4? I'm trying to remember. Igor Bishkan was in there. Alberto Aquilani very nearly made it.
Christian Poulsen.
Yes, another one. Yeah, defensive-minded central midfielders. Whereas today we're looking at the attack-minded central midfielders, of which there's not loads, but I think that I've got. I mean, I don't know about you, and I've got some real doozies.
I mean, I've got a couple, but it's again one of those positions that I think is relatively fluid. So it's not a sort of fixed position, if you know what I mean.
Well, this is what I was. This is what I was going to say. But obviously, with 9 and 10 coming up, we're going to have to differentiate our strikers. But we'll explain that at the end of this section. And number 8, as you say, they're players who can play central midfield, but can also play wide or have filled in various positions in the past. But as I say, I think there's still a few very notable nominations.
Well, I'm going to go. Shall I start, or do you want to?
Please do.
Well, I'm going to go for a man who I don't dislike. And I don't actually think he's a bad footballer. But when it came to his performance in the Premier League for us, he was pretty shit. It's Louis Alberto.
Oh, wow, okay.
Just complete non-entity of a Liverpool career. He played 9 times in the league under Brendan Rodgers. He barely appeared in any matchday squad after that. He did a sort of... He did a disappearing act, a bit like Thiago Ilori or Osama Asaidi, 2 other great Brendan Rodgers era signings. He just sort of couldn't break into a team, got a substitute appearance here and there, and then he was gone. And we loaned him out for a couple of years, and he sort of he hung on and on and on, and then he eventually finally left. I think it was last summer, wasn't it?
2 summers ago. Yeah.
See, that's a measure of just how long he kind of hung around doing nothing. That no one can really quite remember when he actually stopped hanging around doing nothing somewhere else and went and did nothing somewhere else. And yet, in fairness to him, since he left, he's had a really good career. He's carved out a decent patch with Lazio, and now he's been called up for Spain and played for them.
You have to wonder why we never gave him a chance, don't you?
You do, and I think like a lot. I think I have a lot of players. I don't think Javier Manquillo was a bad right back or left back or wherever the hell he played. It's hard to remember because he barely played for us. Like, I just think and I wouldn't even say he was out of his depth. I just don't think he ever got enough momentum to build a decent career. And some players you can tell from like their first 2 games that they're not going to be good enough, like Dagan. Others, they just never get a chance, but will go down in history as just not making the grade for whatever reason.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I didn't even. He still come up being forgetful. He was so forgetful. I forgot to put him down on my list. So.
Yeah, I mean, he cost us 6.8 million, and we sold him for 4. So we I mean, in this day and age, those are ridiculously low figures. You know what I mean, for an international forward.
I mean, it's no Lazar Markovic loss. Let's put it that way.
No. He did actually, he played him at 5-0 win against Spurs in the 13-14 season. And he actually got an assist, but that was pretty much the high point of his Liverpool career.
An assist against Spurs.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Louis Alberto, I should say. Intriguing nomination. I'm going one slightly earlier, but not too much. My first nomination is Joe Cole. Joe Cole did play in a number of positions for us, but he was predominantly a central midfield, and that was his position, his preferred position. And of course, we gave him the number 10, indicating that he would probably be playing more as a number 10. But he was just another chapter in the Hodgson disaster, But why I think he's such a good nomination is actually because I remember the majority of us thought this is actually a real coup for us to get him. Because he was going on a free. I know Arsenal wanted him, and everyone was saying that's where he's going to go after he left Chelsea. But he decided to go to Liverpool instead. And we were thinking, okay, we've got this great player on a free. It's a no-lose situation, Like, it's a free transfer. I mean, the wages were extortionate, but, a new manager, new player, hopefully, but good times ahead. And none of that happened.
Yeah. It was massively disappointing, wasn't it? Because he did come with so much promise.
Well, this is it. I mean, Gerrard, bless him, did actually say he was as good as Lionel Messi.
He was. Not at football, but in other areas.
In other areas, I'm sure he's good at cupcake baking.
Very good at risk.
That's
very
funny.
Good at risk.
Funny you mention risk. 'Cause I saw a guy waiting at Ballon train station with just carrying a box of risk with him.
Was it Joe Cole?
No, sadly not.
Was it Lionel Messi?
No, because he was playing today, of course.
Playing risk?
Yeah.
Oh.
Against Cesc Fabregas. There we go. Yeah, it's he had a horrible start to his Liverpool career where he was sent off on his debut against Arsenal at home.
That was his league debut.
Yes, of course. He'd played in Europe before.
Yeah, he got an assist for a man who I'm sure will crop up again in this feature in a couple of months. David and Gog.
Of course, yes. Yeah, he then in his next game, because he wasn't banned for Europe, he then missed a penalty against Trabzonspor in the Europa League.
That's right. Yeah.
So and then spent the rest of the season kind of in and out the side with injuries. It was pretty evident early on the reason he'd left Chelsea because he wasn't fit enough anymore. Like, he'd lost it, he'd had problems with injuries, and he could never get a run going, and he'd lost his yard of pace, and technically he was really struggling. And the rest of the season was a bit of a disaster for him, really. I think he scored twice, maybe?
3 times.
Okay.
3 times a maybe.
And one of those, by the way, was at home to Bolton, where he scored from about a yard out.
Was that after about... oh no, that was in Europe. He scored after about 30 seconds.
No, this is actually the opposite. He scored in the 93rd minute to win the game. But it was such a disaster for him that the next season we loaned him out to Lille for a year, which was a very unusual kind of move. But Kenny Dalglish didn't fancy him and decided to let him go. And what's more interesting about that is what I forget, because I just assumed that after that he'd gone. But he actually started with us for the first 6 months of Brendan Rodgers' tenure.
Yeah, it was one of those weird things that doesn't happen very often with us, where we loan someone out and then they come back and carve out a bit of a career.
And I'd forgotten that he was even there. But unfortunately, with Brendan Rodgers, did actually say I want him in the squad, but more injuries, more problems, and eventually we decided it was enough. He wasn't happy, and that January we paid his contract of £3 million off so he could go to West Ham on a free.
Yeah, I mean, we got him on a free transfer. He left on a free transfer, and he kind of gave us just about value for money in between, didn't he?
Yeah, minus the extortionate wages.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he hung around a long time. It's one of those weird things that, like, I mentioned this sort of thing before on this podcast, right? But that sort of weird overlap that you forget about. You know what I mean? Like when you think that Thomas Hardy and Adolf Hitler were alive at the same time for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And you forget that there was a couple of weeks when Daniel Sturridge and Joe Cole were both at the club at the same time, and like they only just, him and Coutinho only just missed each other. I mean, if there was ever a sort of metaphor for, one era ending and another beginning, it would be a transfer window where we sold Joe Cole and brought in Coutinho.
I mean, that's a good. Wouldn't you think that's quite a good thing, really? Since leaving, of course, Joe Cole's played for a number of clubs, and now he's at Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, yet another American team to add to our favourite American teams list.
Yeah, harking back to last season's feature when we just used to find any excuse to mention bizarrely titled North American Soccer League teams.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Joe Cole's a great nomination just because he was so much more disappointing than he should have been.
Yeah. He was probably one of the most disappointing players of the last sort of 10 years, I'd have thought. Okay, well, for my next nomination, I was struggling to delineate, but I'm going to take a punt on Bruno Cheroux.
Hey, he's the new Zidane, etc., etc. He
is the new Zidane. He's brought in by Gerard Houllier in 2003. And I was just, yeah, he was again a play. No, 2002. Sorry, yeah, it was that. We just come. So we'd won the treble, we'd won the quintuple in 2001, and then we'd come second in the league in 2002. Basically, to paraphrase the late Labour leader John Smith, all we needed was one last heave, and we'd be league champions again. And it was been 10 years, but we were basically on the precipice. And one good summer, strengthening that squad in 2002, we'd have been league champions of England in come May 2003. And instead of strengthening the squad, Gerard Houllier bought Salif Diao, El Hadji Diouf, Anthony Talek, and Bruno Cheroux. And we thought Joe Cole failed to live up to expectations. When he signed him, Gerard Houllier said he was the new Zidane.
God.
No, that's just something you don't want as a player, isn't it? That's just like, when was the last time any player got called the new somebody and turned out to be any good at all?
It's true, actually, yeah.
Like the new Pele, the new Messi, the new Maradona, the new Zidane. Like, none of them have ever been any good.
No.
Like, I mean, look at Freddie Adu.
Oh, I was just thinking about him, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's even playing anymore. I think he's like doing cross-country skiing.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be good. He played 31 times that season. He only scored 2 goals, although admittedly they were quite important, good goals. He got the winner against Chelsea, and he also scored in the FA Cup against Newcastle to take us through to the 4th round, but that wasn't in the league, so that doesn't really count. So we'll have to go for his less impressive equaliser against Wolves in January 2004. But yeah, winner against Chelsea. There were 5 over the sort of festive season of the 2003-2004 season when he scored 4 goals. Wolves, Chelsea, and 2 against Newcastle, and he thought, "Ooh, hang on, maybe this is a new Zidane." But then he stopped again.
Yeah, he had a few injuries and things, and just never really adapted to the pace and the physicality of the league.
He was also just he was just a bit of a dick. Do you know what I mean?
Why?
Like, he just wasn't very. I remember reading an interview with him when he left on loan the first time to get to Marseille in the 2004 close season. And he said, I came to England to win trophies, and all we managed was one little League Cup. And it's like, right now, as then, League Cup is, not to be sniffed at.
No, exactly.
And also, if you didn't win enough trophies, whose bloody fault is that?
Yeah, you didn't exactly contribute much.
Yeah, play a bit bloody better, Bruno Cheroux.
No, I didn't know that. That's really sad. He's gone down in my estimation. I find it remarkable that he spent a total of 4 years with us.
Yeah, again, a bit like Joe Cole and I guess Louis Alberto, but like all our emotions, they just sort of come, they disappoint, and then they don't go away. They vanish on loan for a few years, but they're a bit like Adam Bob, just somehow still being paid by the club. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno Cheroux was still technically on the books.
Yeah, still getting his residual fee.
I mean, we did see him play at Anfield as recently as 2014, didn't we?
Where we saw him score at Anfield.
Yeah, that's a real collector's item, that is.
There you go, in front of the Kop.
Good goal.
Yeah.
He's Zidane,
Bruno Cheroux, great nomination. Actually, you've mentioned just recently another one of my nominations for this category. Another player who we did actually technically signed 6 months or a year before we signed Bruno Cheroux, but you mentioned that you signed him on the year because that was the day he came to the club, having spent a year on loan at his former club, Le Havre, Anthony Letalek.
Ah, yes.
He was one of Europe's hottest properties when he signed.
That seems a long time ago, doesn't it?
I know, right? I know, right? Him and Florent Sinama-Pongol, who actually had, he didn't have a great career with us, but he had a better one than Letalek did.
I've got a lot of time for Pongol.
I do, I like him. He's got a great name, one of my favourite names of anyone we've ever had. Sinama-Pongol. He one of the Europe's hot properties, never even scored for us in the Premier League. I think a total of 13 starts, 13 games in the Premier League. Incredibly, he actually started the famous 2-1 win in the 2005 Champions League match against Juventus, which I find baffling.
No, I remember that. And at the time, it didn't seem that much of a shock, which says both that A, he was having a decent season, and B, we had a terrible squad.
Well, yeah, but we had Luis Garcia and Sami Hyypiä and who scored the goals that day. That's why I mentioned them. And of course, Scott Carson started in goal.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, if ever you needed a sort of, an indicator of our squad depth that season, Scott Carson and Anthony Letalek started against Juventus in a Champions League quarter-final.
And we won.
And we won.
So, maybe that was for the best. He wasn't in the squad for the final, actually, Letalek, but he did get a medal because obviously he'd played in other games. So he's another one of those somehow got a medal despite being not great for us.
I think that's fair enough because he played his part in the Champions League campaign, even if he didn't do anything ever elsewhere.
Do you know how long Letalek spent with us though? I'm sure you must have researched this.
It's something like 7 years, isn't it?
He left in 2008.
Yeah, but again, it's exactly what I was just saying. They came, they saw, they underwhelmed. It's like bloody athlete's foot. Do you know what I mean? Can't get rid of the buggers.
To be fair to Letalek though, he did have some loans away. He's loaned to 5 different clubs in all, including going to Sunderland in the Premier League. And he was actually their top scorer in that season.
How many goals did he get?
4. Genuinely true.
Were they relegated by any chance?
Yes, with the lowest points in Premier League history at the time. Before Derby beat that a few 2 years later, I think it was.
Have West Brom already beaten it? Or
yeah, the lowest total I think Derby got was like 13 or something.
I
mean, it's really bad. It's really difficult.
Bad.
It's difficult to beat that.
I sort of remember that happening, but that is bad.
So West Brom are way above that now. But yeah, Anthony Letalek was their top scorer, which I find fascinating. And yeah, I just think it was like Bruno Cheroux. He was meant to be a brilliant player and just wasn't.
That's a good shout. It's a very good shout. Where is he these days? Do we know?
I don't know, actually. Did look it up. Let's highlight. I think he's in like French second tier.
Oh yeah, US Orleans.
Yeah, there you go.
Orleans.
Orléans. Oh, it's in the Lorient. Okay. Yeah, they're 18th in Ligue 2.
Wow. Well, it's better than Sunderland.
That's true. That is true.
You know, it's a close escape for him.
So, there we go.
I love looking at his honours. Look at that.
Why?
The second best player in the FIFA Under-17 World Championships.
Yeah.
Won the World Championships. Won the Champions League. Won the French Cup. And has had nothing for the last 11 years.
Yeah,
Well, in fairness, he was at Astra Giurgiu for a while in the Romanian Premier League.
Really?
Yeah. That's kind of for about 6 months.
To be fair, he now gets to play with international Guadeloupean legend Livio Nabab. So, I mean, what more could you want?
For a minute, I was really hoping you were going to say Peggy Asfexad. I thought he's not still going, surely.
Peggy Afiexad. No, sadly not. I can't see him on this list anyway. Well, who have you got? Anyone else?
Well, I'm not strictly sure he counts as an attacking midfielder, but he was quite attack-minded. And I'm not sure if that's because of how he played football or just because he was Scottish.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw Charlie Adam in there.
Well, I did realise we didn't mention him in the defensive-minded one, and he should have been probably put in that category. So let's put him in here anyway.
I mean, defensive implies that he's any good at defending. But in fairness to him, calling him an attacking midfielder implies he's any good at attacking.
No. Well, to be fair, he's good at attacking from his own half of the pitch. If you've ever seen that goal he scored against Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he'd be good at attacking people in a kebab shop. Because he looks like an extra from Train Spotting. He's just, he was one of the great Dalglish intake of 2011, which included such luminaries as Andy Carroll and, of course, our current captain.
Yes, true.
Which is a bit bizarre. And Jose Enrique. So,
and Stuart Downing, who will come up later, I'm sure.
Yeah. So more bad than good, probably, in that sort of that year's transfers. But and he definitely leans towards the. I remember being quite excited when we signed him because he'd had a really good season with Blackpool in their first year in Premier League. That it was a bit like when we signed Andy Robertson.
Yeah.
In that, a team that weren't great, but a real standout performer for that team, and he was quite a coveted figure.
Yeah, I think Sir Alex Ferguson had said his corner taking ability was worth £10 million alone.
Yeah. I mean, we originally bid £4.5 million for him in January of that year, which his manager at the time, Ian Holloway, said was disgraceful. He got nominated for PFA Players Player of the Year. Wow. So, he was, because he was shit for us, we forget quite how good he was for Blackpool and what a sought after property. A bit like Danny Ings as well, I suppose. And we ended up buying him for £6.75 million. He got an assist on his league debut for Luis Suarez to score against Sunderland. It was just, again, unremarkable. Just like, I think probably the most memorable thing he did was get sent off when we lost 4-0 to Spurs and we had 2 players sent off.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was in September that year. It was a really bad couple of months. I mean, it was a really bad couple of years for Liverpool. But he did win a medal with Liverpool. Also, it's not in Premier League, so we can't really discuss it. But he was part of the Carling Cup winning side in 2012. Took part in the penalty shootout. Missed his penalty, which kind of sums him up. But got a winner's medal for it the same. And then after sort of arriving with such, having fought off a fair few other sides to sign him, he arrived with a bit of expectation. Turned out to actually be a sort of Blackpool level player that should never have left Blackpool, and so we got rid of him at first opportunity in August of 2012.
To Stoke, right?
To Stoke, where he is still to this day.
Playing alongside another former alumni and Joe Allen.
Yeah, and Peter Crouch. Again, I find him hard to dislike. I just think he was shit.
I do agree.
But that's
with
not
you,
his fault. That's not his fault. We shouldn't have signed him.
No, well,
I can understand why we signed him because everyone was after him, but it turned out he was just what he was. Right, was a Roy Hodgson signing that was signed by Dalglish.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He was the most Roy Hodgson signing to not be signed by Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, that says a lot. No, good nomination. I mean, I don't have anyone else. Do you?
Only a few players who I'm not really sure fit. But I mean, like Darren Potter.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't really that attacking, but he wasn't particularly defensive either.
No.
And again, he wasn't really that bad. So I feel sort of, yeah. I'm not really sure where you'd put John Joe Shelby.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, he would go here. It's interesting you wanted to nominate him, though.
Well, it's mainly because I was struggling for names, to be honest with you. I see. He's probably the opposite of every player we've discussed so far, in that he didn't really arrive with any expectation and turned out to be alright. He was again a bit of a Roy Hodgson kind of signing. I keep forgetting that actually it was Dalglish that bought him. It's a really weird signing, actually.
Well, he was bought from Charlton as like a youth prospect.
Yeah, but it just kind of summed up our sort of lack of ambition at the time. Was it 2011 he signed? Was it the same year as Charlie Adam?
No, it was earlier, because I remember, didn't Shelby play for Hodgson in that game against Northampton Town?
Oh, possibly, yeah, maybe he actually was the Roy Hodgson signing.
I'm pretty certain he came that summer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so he was actually a Hodgson signing, yeah. Again, yeah, that's typical Hodgson, really, isn't it? Signing people from Charlton and yeah.
Well, you can't criticise that though, because we signed Joe Gomez from Charlton and he's turned out all right.
Yeah, but I suppose, but it was just it did seem emblematic of the kind of signing we were making at that time, and yet he actually had the longest career of any Hodgson signing, I think. He only left us in what, 2013?
Yeah, went to Swansea.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't dislike him, to be honest.
No, he gave us the Colo Torre song before we had Colo Torre, so...
Yeah. And he was a bit unhinged at times, but...
He still is now.
Still is now. And yet he's played for England, what, twice?
Yeah.
No, 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's... He was actually man of the match for England at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They qualifying for Euro 2016. People were complaining that he wasn't in the squad.
I mean, right now, you look at our central midfield situation, and there's half the chance he could get in it.
What, the England squad?
Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly too many central midfielders playing, so.
No.
And one of the main ones is retired, and James Milner. So.
He's got to be better than Jack Wilshere anyway.
Yeah, there we go.
So who are we going to go for?
Who are we going to go for? Well, I think let's get rid of the last few you mentioned. I think Shelby was actually a decent player. I think Darren Potter was just too young and a youth player. I can't give it to Charlie Adam either, because again he wasn't bad. He just wasn't anywhere near as good as we'd liked him to have been. But he was okay at best. Whereas we've got worse nominations for sure. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough.
So who's that leave us with?
Alberto, Cole and Shearu, I think.
And Latalak as well.
And Latalak. See, Latalak, I think... I'm going to give a reprieve to Latalak. Mainly because of his exploits in the Champions League. Which I know isn't the point, but... I don't think he was ever actively bad for us, do you know what I mean?
No.
He was just... And again, if we're letting Darren Potter off for being young, we should let Latalak off for being young.
But, Luis Alberto was only like 19 when we signed him.
Okay, do we want to let him off?
Well, I think with him he just wasn't given the chance. I think that's the difference. Yeah. Like, we didn't get to see enough of him because he wasn't given the opportunity. Whereas with Shearu and Cole, they both were.
You could argue that about some of our other picks as well, though. I mean, Adam Bogdan didn't have a lengthy chance to prove himself.
Well, true, but Luis Alberto had 6 games, most of them off the bench for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the level. Plus, he didn't concede from 2 corners, so...
No. I mean, it would. Yeah. Okay. Who are we gonna say then?
So it's Shearer or Cole?
Because I think of Shearer as I think of them both as wingers, to be honest. But who are you leaning towards?
Because we always make the joke, I feel like in tribute we have to put him in.
Well, see, I feel because we always make the joke, we should keep him out.
Really?
Because he's the new Zidane, Matt.
He's the new Zidane. Well, that's the problem then. Why was he not the new Zidane for us?
Well, he was the new Zidane for us. It just turns out the new Zidane's shit.
Whereas the old Zidane was much better. Why couldn't we have had him?
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have been a hell of a signing in 2001. But I think I don't know. See, I think Joe Cole arrived with even more expectation than Shearer.
Well, in that he actually should have been a good player.
Well, in that we knew he was a good player. Do you know what I mean? Shearer, it turned out someone had said he was a good player, but he was shit. Whereas Joe Cole, we'd actually seen him as a good player. He was just shit for us. It feels almost more personal. Do you know what I mean? Like Shearer could have gone anywhere and been rubbish.
I did like in that I disliked what you said about him being a bit poxy to the League Cup. However, I do think that Joe Cole said that being at Liverpool was the worst time of his life. So
yeah, he said he never connected with the fans or the club while he was there, and it was a mistake to go there.
Which is never a good thing to say.
No, that's up there almost with Paul Konchesky's mum.
I mean, yeah, it's like level grade 2 to that grade 1.
Maybe we should give Paul Konchesky a Cockney friend in the Despicable 11. What do you reckon?
Yeah, all right. Let's put Joe Cole in.
There you go. Sorry, Coley.
Yeah, another Hutchinson signing.
Yeah. It's filling up with him.
It is.
So there we go. Joe Cole in the centre of midfield.
Yes, indeed. Our number 8 position is Phil. Our midfield is nearly complete, but that won't be complete until the end of the season, as number 11 will be our last number. And so next month, we will be doing number 9, probably the most famous of all shirt numbers, the striker, the out-and-out striker. Now, Owen and I have been I've been thinking about this a little bit. I don't know about you, but number 9 is your typical striker. So your out-and-out goal scorers, someone like Fernando Torres or Robbie Fowler or Ian Rush. These were out-and-out number 9s. I'm sure none of which will come up next month. But I would say that is more of a number 9. And number 10 is a sort of striker who might also play sort of off the striker. So maybe someone like Bobby Firmino is a good example of a number 10, ironically enough. Luis Suarez was a number 10, would be more a number 10 in that a striker, but who did more different things. But I would also maybe put someone like Philippe Coutinho in the number 10 role as well. Do you see what I mean? I
do.
So I think next month we're going to be picking our out-and-out strikers that were simply dreadful. And boy, there's a lot to choose from.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, there are. We're going to do well to limit it to 3, I think.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to do well to try and pick 2, 9 and 10 out of a quagmire of mess. So, exciting times ahead.
Yes, indeed. A lot to look forward to. And
so we move on. It's me. So, one of the things that happened during the month of February, because we'd been knocked out the FA Cup and we only had 4 games, of course, is the Liverpool players went on a mid-season break. And we've done this before. They've been to Ibiza in the past. Last year they went to... Where did they go out last year?
Was it Tenerife last year?
Tenerife, that's right. You wrote that one. And this time they decided to go to Marbella. Have you visited Marbella before, Owen?
I've not, no.
No? Well, I have. And I've got a few things I'd maybe be able to help the squad with in terms of what to do, where to go, where to visit, and what sort of times to have out there. They only had 4 days, so let's try and pack as much in as we can. So the Plastic Scousers would like to offer up our guide to Marbella. The stunning municipality of Marbella is the home of the Liverpool squad for a few days during the month of February. As a means to escape the snow, talks on Brexit, and stickers that don't properly peel off newly purchased books. Following an evidently planned 3-2 defeat at home to relegation-bound West Brom in the 4th round of the FA Cup, Jurgen Klopp has chosen this Andalusian paradise town as the location for a frolic in the sunshine. But what to do in a town with beautiful beaches, bars, clubs and restaurants aplenty, historical sites and landmarks, and sunshine 364 days of the year, you may ask? It'd be a good question. So we here at the Plastic Scousers would like to offer some advice on the best things to see and do during the squad's stay. On arriving at the idyllic Spanish town, the first thing the players should do is check into their hotel, which inevitably will be in the flashiest part of the town, Puerto Banús. Much like the French Riviera, Kensington High Road, or Bezcu in Romania, this is the place to find super yachts, flashy sports cars, and boutiques filled with over-expensive tat and their rich husbands. But what's that I spy in the town centre? Weighing in at about 3.6 tonnes, and the architect of a great artiste, Jan Molby would surely love the sculpture of a rhinoceros created by Salvador Dali that can be found here. Of course, several of the first team squad, including Andrew Robertson, Dejan Lovren and Emre Can, have a well-known interest in history and culture. So, it would be a perfect sojourn for the squad to take a trip to Casco Antiguo, or Marbella Old Town, for those of us with a lesser knowledge of Portuguese or French or whatever it is they speak. Retaining the same layout as its original foundation in the 16th century, there are 3 truly incredible buildings that must be visited. The Town Hall, built in 1568 by Catholic monks, is a beautiful example of the architecture of the place, and is surrounded by a variety of flora and places to have a coffee or some tapas. The Mayoral House, which combines Gothic and Renaissance elements in its facade, with the roof of a Mudéjar style and fresco murals inside. And the Chapel of Santiago, believed to date from the 15th century. We'd love to tell you more about that, but unfortunately the website was all in Spanish, and Alberto Moreno was too busy running around and sliding on his knees to do the basics and help us out. Once the players have quenched their thirst for knowledge, they might want to go do some actual training on an actual mountain. Whilst Joel Matip is used to those higher altitudes, Sadio Mane might find it tough going up Mountain La Concha to the west of Marbella Old Town. While cycling to the summit is possible, a brisk hike is advised due to the tricky conditions and rough terrain. It's almost as rocky as Simon Millionaire's Command of the Box. However, the views are simply stunning. Something most of the squad are probably used to, looking at their wives on their Instagram posts. Of course, the players might also need some time to relax and take the pressure off their hard-working feet. So a visit to one of Marbella's many beaches is surely in order during their time in the town. Artola, La Fontilla and Puerto Banús are not the next bunch of young players to be on Football Manager 2018, but some of the more highly recommended sandy spots around the town. Just try not to get burned, like one of James Milner's infamous one-liners. But of course, what would a trip to Marbella be without sampling the notorious nightlife? There's something for everyone in the LFC squad. For Woodburn, Two-Thirds of the Beast, Joe Mez and all the other youngsters, T-Boo is the place to be. The drinks are reasonably priced, the clientele hip, young and cool like those YouTube influencer people, whatever they're called, and the DJs mix up funky rhythm. There's even an opportunity to jump onto a dance podium, although you'll most certainly have to force off a certain tall, lanky German with glasses off it first. For those looking to relax in good company, Nicky Beach is a must. Hosting an all-night champagne service, exquisite food and some Latin musical flavours, it's the perfect place to party with the stars, under the stars. It seems the perfect place for Nathaniel Klein to frequent, although we're not exactly sure where he's gone, or why there's quite a large queue for the gents. For a gentler evening, however, Marbella offers a social dining experience named after one of our very own, Le Sala, or The Sala in English. It includes a relaxed terrace bar, a la carte and private dining restaurants, and a comfy cocktail lounge, all of which allow people to connect, communicate and work together. Probably best to stick our defence and goalkeeper in there for a few days. The next day, after one too many Jurgen brows, the squad will probably want nothing more than to tear about in off-road vehicles to settle the stomach down. You can hire a series of Marbella buggies to tour around the mountains and flatlands to see everything the town has to offer. Fast, agile, but with a tendency to suddenly fail when you need it most, Sadio Mane would surely love a trip around on an ATV. Just try to keep your lunch down. To end the trip, after more training or something, I guess, the team should celebrate their time away with a trip to Aqualand in Torremolinos. About an hour's drive from the centre of Marbella, the trip would absolutely be worth it for the thrill seekers and sun seekers alike. This water park features the highest vertical water slide in Europe, standing at over 22 metres tall, or head height for Virgil van Dijk. Named after Dejan Lovren's style of defending, Kamikaze is one of the biggest selling points of the park. But there's plenty of other slides and rides for those of a more sensitive disposition, including the Boomerang, Twister, Anaconda, and Black Hole, coincidentally also the name of Bobby Firmino's favourite sex positions. There's also chill-out areas, a big jacuzzi, and an area for kids, in case Mo Salah isn't tall enough to ride the proper grown-up rides. A truly wonderful way to end a great winter break in Marbella.
Fantastic stuff, Matt. I'm genuinely keen to go.
Yeah, I quite fancy like a night out in Marbella. That sounds great.
Yeah, I think we should look at doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I could have lived without imagining Bobby Firmino having sex. But,
Hey, I am simply the artiste. You paint your own pictures.
well, isn't that what artiste is for? Painting
I'm an
pictures.
artiste with words.
Right. I see.
A word artiste.
Well, thank you very much for that, Matt. And you will need your artiste with words skill again as we dive straight on into our next feature. And it is a game we're provisionally calling Call My Clough. It is basically those of you old enough to remember the great BBC panel show Call My Bluff, where it's a bit like Would I Lie to You, basically.
It's basically the same show, yeah.
Yeah. What we've got is some facts about Liverpool players, past and present, to put to the other, and only one of them will be true. The other two will be a lie, and it is up to the other of us for rigid cross-examination and interrogation to determine which is the truth and which is the Clough. Now, I know that when I say Clough, most people think of Brian Clough rather than the former Liverpool midfielder Nigel Clough. But there's very few former Liverpool players whose names end in off.
Yeah, or lie, weirdly.
Yeah.
Would I climb to you?
Would I climb to you?
Would I ibe to you?
Oh, that's even worse. Would I
lie to a moo?
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Would I stigging a Bjorn by to you?
Would I be on talk of arm to you?
It's clashing at straws a bit now.
Would I lie to Leighton Maxwell? No, let's move on.
Would Burn I lie to you?
That's not too bad. Would Burn I lie to a moo?
Yeah. Would
Sounds like a love song.
Two players with about 9 appearances between them.
Yeah, and 1 goal.
Yeah, that's less than bloody Nigel Clough.
Oh well. As this is your feature, why don't you go first and introduce how the game works?
Well, as I said, I will give you 3 statements about former Liverpool players. Only one of them will be true. You have to work out which is a fact, which is the fiction, and then we will swap around, and you will do the same for me with current Liverpool players, and so on and so forth. Obviously, the reason one of us took current and one of us took former is so we couldn't inadvertently find out the truth before we started doing this by cross research purposes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Matt, are you ready for your first 3 facts?
I'm prepared.
I'll read them all to you, and then you're allowed to interrogate them. So, number 1. There is a brick with Harry Kewell's name on inside the foyer of the Sydney Opera House.
Okay.
Statement number 2. Nathan Eccleston believes that 9/11 was an inside job.
Okay.
And number 3. David Thompson was declared bankrupt after investing all of his money into a failed wind farm.
Okay. Now, I should just add as a caveat at this point, I've slightly got confused as to how we're meant to be doing this. So when we come on to my ones, they're all going to be 3 facts about the same player. But okay,
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't quite. I don't think I quite got it. But
it still works. It still works.
It still works
Yeah.
as a thing. Okay, so the 3 again. So the first one was Harry Kewell was a brick in the Sydney Opera House. Now,
Yeah.
see, for me, that could easily be true because maybe as a kid, maybe he gave us, there was like a thing at a school where it's like, if you win a competition or something, you can have your name put inside the Opera House, or maybe there's like you give some money or something, or maybe it's to do with him being a kind of a famous Australian footballer and, a big personality in the country, and they do that there. I don't quite know why that would they would do that, but that seems fairly reasonable.
You're allowed to ask. This is the point.
Oh, so I can ask you questions?
Yeah, like what I lie to you. You can kind of...
Okay.
You can, yeah.
So, yeah, okay, I was just going through my thought processes there, so...
No, that's fine. Well, keep going. Keep going. Ask when you need to.
Okay, so with these bricks, would it then be a case of... Well, how would the brick get there?
The bricks were put in just before the opening of the Sydney Opera House.
When was it opened?
It was opened in 1978.
But I don't know how old Harry Kewell is, but I think he would have been born at around mid to late 70s.
You are correct.
Yeah, so he would have been very young. So why then did he get his name put on a brick?
What it was one of those things where you could donate towards the construction of it. Like when they were building it, they had a sort of public appeal to raise money for the sort of furnishings of a lobby, of a foyer, or whatever you want to call it. And so people could kind of donate money, a bit like when you sponsor a seat in the theatre, or like when they redid the main stand at Anfield and you can buy bricks and you have an inscription on them. It was a bit like that. And Harry Kewell's dad was one of the builders involved in the construction of Sydney Opera House, and so he chose to have a brick dedicated to put him by himself, but dedicated to his family. So it's Harry Kewell's mum, himself, and his younger sister. Okay. One other thing we should point out that I forgot to say, but goes without saying, but just for the benefit of the listeners, is we're not allowed to look this up and cheat while we're guessing.
No, true.
That would take the fun out of it somewhat.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to move on. The second statement was Nathan Eccleston thinks that 9/11 was an inside job.
Yes.
Why?
He thinks it was the Illuminati.
And where have you found this out?
From his Twitter page. Nathan Eccleston is on Twitter, and he famously, around the time of the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, sent a tweet complaining about the phrase 9/11 attacks, because he said it wasn't an attack. He thought it was an inside job.
And so, did he explain any more than that?
Not really. He just said that you shouldn't let the media dictate the narrative as to how we look at such disasters as these, and that it wasn't terrorists that did it. And then he put in a very cryptic hashtag about the Illuminati.
Right. Okay. And I mean, does he have a lot of followers on Twitter?
I mean, he's no Lady Gaga, but he's probably
got... Then who is?
Well, exactly. Certainly Nathan Eccleston isn't. A good few thousand.
Okay.
This was, of course, what you got to remember is this was while he was playing for Liverpool, so his profile was considerably higher than it is now. Possibly because he's a 9/11 denier. Who knows?
Interesting. Okay, and the third one was David Thompson went bankrupt after investing in a wind farm.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. So when did this happen?
This happened around the turn of the decade, so about 2010. So not too long after he retired.
Okay. And why did he... I mean, I don't know how much you know about this. Why did he invest in the wind farm?
Well, he was approached to invest in it they were building a wind farm in the sort of mouth of the Mersey. There's obviously sort of most of them are at sea. Like it was like a sort of what they called like a marine wind farm. So somewhere where there's a lot of wind and a lot of potential. So it was kind of at the mouth of the Mersey, and because it was the Mersey Gateway Wind Farm, and because it was so linked to the city of Liverpool, they wanted someone from Liverpool as a sort of as a face of it.
Okay.
And so the consortium that was kind of building it approached him because they knew he was good friends with Robbie Fowler and Steve McManaman. Obviously, they played together at the start of his career, and they were very big in sort of the Liverpool property scene. Obviously, Fowler owns a lot of houses, and so they asked if he'd consider getting involved as a sort of investor / ambassador, and so he did. But then, complications with planning permission, all sorts of things just meant it never got going.
Right. Okay. And this was what, a one isolated thing, or was this a company who sort of do wind farms for a living? What is that kind of about?
It was a sort of I wouldn't say startup because obviously they're a lot bigger than that, but it was it was a new company formed specifically for the Mersey wind farm.
Right. And did you find out why David Thompson sort of wanted to invest in this, or?
As far as I can work out, he's just a passionate believer in clean energy.
Right.
But also, as I say, like McManaman, like Fowler, they've both got a bit of a property empire. Michael Owen owns a lot of property in Liverpool, and I think he wanted his own version of that, but with but less of a property angle, more of a sort of industry and more of an innovation than property.
Right. And has he done anything else since? I mean, if he's declared bankrupt, I guess he can't. But has he not got out of this, or what's?
Well, he's since he's been making about. That's why he's been doing a lot more TV work. But he's not really done any other ventures like the wind farm, as far as I can see. Once bitten, twice shy.
Very true. This is tough. This is very tough. Oh, I don't know. I think I don't believe Nathan Eccleston, so I'm eliminating that one. Just because I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but there's just a part of me that I don't think Nathan Eccleston understands the role of media's confirmation bias in terrorism and the burgeoning I don't know what I'm trying to say, but neither do I, apparently. I don't believe you on that one.
What a dreadful assumption to make about Nathan Eccleston.
I'm very sorry, Nathan. If this is true, I'm very sorry, but I don't believe you. So it's either Harry Kewell or David Thompson. Now, I didn't believe the David Thompson thing until you said that's why he's doing more TV work because he was declared bankrupt. And then that threw a spanner in the works. Went, oh, that could be true. Because that could easily be true. Because he was doing Radio 5 Live recently.
Yeah. And he was quite an unremarkable player.
But Harry Kewell, because that could easily be true as well. Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is really good. Well done. I just man. My head says one thing and my heart says another.
I'm gonna have to hurry you for an answer, Matt.
David Thompson.
Matt, I'm afraid it is incorrect.
Who is it?
It's Nathan Eccleston.
What?
Nathan Eccleston got reprimanded by Liverpool Football Club in 2011 for posting a tweet in which he implied the 9/11 attacks were an inside job.
What on earth? Really?
Yeah.
I just did not believe that could be possible.
Absolutely insane. And weirdly, it was actually finding that fact out that gave me the idea for this feature.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought that was the most random combination of obscure player and obscure nugget of information.
God, I'm very sorry, Nathan. I completely...
Don't be sorry to him, he sounds like a twat.
Completely fooled. He's currently playing at Becky Casper 1912 Elor.
Is he?
In, I don't know what country it's in. Hungarian football.
Wow, he's how his career has improved since that.
They're fifth in the Hungarian second division.
Yeah, that's better than Anthony Letalek.
Yeah, 18th in the French second division. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, there we go. So I was very much fooled. So Owen, it's your go.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this.
I'm not. I'm really bad at this. So okay. Statement 1. Ragnar Klavan is actually the president of an Estonian Premier League team. Statement number 2. Ragnar Klavan has a park named after him.
Ooh.
Number 3. Ragnar Klavan has a degree in politics and international relations. Owen.
Okay. I mean, it's for footballers to have degrees these days. When did he get the degree?
In 2005.
2005. So he'd have been what? About 21. No,
well done. Yeah, 22, I think.
22.
Yeah.
Was that whilst he was a footballer?
Yeah, he was playing in Estonia at the time. He got it from the University of Tartu.
Now that is definitely a place.
Yeah.
So I've been passed on a bus.
Of course, yeah.
So that checks out. And was it politics and international relations?
It was indeed.
Okay. What about the park? Where is that?
So the park
is that in Tartu as well, by any chance?
No, the park is in his hometown of Viljandi.
Which also sounds like a place in Estonia.
It does sound like it, right? Yeah.
And why did he have a park named after him?
Because it's two reasons basically. One was the fact that obviously he's one of Estonia's sort of most proud exports per se. You know, playing in Augsburg at the time when it happened, and being kind of Estonian Footballer of the Year several years running. His small little hometown wanted to honour him with that, and they had a new park they were going to open. And also he's also done some charity work there and invested some money in the school and things like that. So I think it was a combination of those two.
Okay. And do you know what's in the park? Is it a big park?
No, apparently not. I did it's called, I think it's, when I was researching this, obviously my Estonian isn't great, so so I could only get so many facts. It's called the Rahilus Klavan, or otherwise roughly translated as Klavan Green.
Oh, that's nice. So it's more of so it doesn't have it's not like a play park.
No, I think it's just an area of grass and some trees that people walk their dogs in, and that kind of thing.
Okay. And what time? When about did you say this was? When it was at Augsburg?
Yeah, so I haven't got the exact date. I couldn't find that, but I think it was like 2014, 2015, around then, based on my web archive search.
When did you sign for us? That was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was the third statement? But he
Ragnar Klavan is actually the president of an Estonian Premier League team.
See, I find that quite believable. Because I know that Estonian football is a bit less developed than sort of Western European football. Estonian Premier League team. Do we know what they're called?
Yes, JK Tallinna Kalev.
Who presumably are based in Tallinn. How did he come to be their president?
So as far as I can work out, he there's a weird system in Estonia where basically because he was a successful footballer. They wanted the team kind of reached out to him to say what can we do to improve our prospects. They were in the second division or something at the time, and he sort of came in and talked about their academy and things, and they reached out to him in order to get promoted. And as far as I can work out, they got promoted to the Estonian Premier League in 2011. And so I think, because I couldn't get the date, but I think it was like 2 or 3 years previously that Ragnar Klavan had agreed to take this position up. And he still holds it today. I mean, only in a he's more like an executive role. But yeah, he's still the president. So.
Oh, that's quite tough. That's some 3 very plausible options there. I'm going to discount the park idea because, successful export or not, I don't think playing for Augsburg is an honour worthy enough to have a park named after you. So I'm leaning towards saying that's a falsehood. the president thing, I sort of initially believed, and then didn't believe. But then when you said he was president before they got promoted, and like he was made president when they were a sort of lower league team, that adds up. And I have not seen anything from Ragnar Klavan to suggest he's got any sort of, Bachelor of Arts degree. Not that that's necessarily something you notice on a football pitch, but I'm going to say he's a president of an Estonian Premier League club.
And you'd be right to say that. Well done.
Yeah, yes.
Well worked out indeed. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't find too much more information out about it because, as I said, my Estonian isn't great. So.
That's good though. That is. See, the good thing about this feature is we're learning a lot about our players as well.
We are.
Sometimes things we didn't want to know. Sometimes things we did.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
I'm impressed. Good lad, Klavan. So he doesn't have a degree. He's
No, sorry, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But do you know who does in the squad? Simon Mignolet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a degree in socionomics or something from Belgium.
Wow, he might need to rely on that in coming months.
Yeah, when he's handing his CV out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, your next 3 statements. Are you ready?
Yep.
Former Liverpool left back Martin Kelly was, as a boy, accepted into the Royal Ballet School. Statement number 2. In 2008, former Liverpool midfielder John Barnes set up his own motorsport team. And statement number 3. Ray Clements once had his own brand of squash.
Okay. Let's get straight to Martin Kelly then. So he apparently is a ballet dancer, Owen.
Not anymore. Now he plays for Crystal Palace.
When did this happen?
In his youth, so sort of before he started moving up through the academy at Liverpool. So he got offered a place there when he was at the Royal Ballet School, 10 years old.
Right.
He took ballet lessons as a boy, because his coach at a younger level, sort of his boys team, had said it would be good for his sort of athleticism and his agility. So he kind of took lessons, discovered he was quite good at it, and a bit like a sort of real life Billy Elliot, his teacher sort of suggested he audition for, like he had a bit of a spark to him, suggested he audition for the Royal Ballet School, and it was he did, and it was a similar sort of time that he got off to place in Liverpool's academy setup, and ultimately he chose the latter.
Okay, where's the Royal Ballet School?
It's got multiple locations, but it's mainly based in London.
That's where he would have gone then, I assume.
Yeah, he'd have gone to the there's like there's a sort of a lodge for the younger students in Richmond Park.
Right.
So it would have been residential.
And so has he talked about this since, in terms of, do he enjoy it? Would he like to get back to it? I mean, what's his opinion on it?
He's spoken about it in interviews. He's said about how it sort of helped him. Sort of, it was mainly when he was having a good season for us, and he was a lot more, in the media than he is now. But he spoke about how it kind of helped him, develop as a player, like his sort of background in ballet and that sort of physical aspect to it. He said helped him. So obviously he's quite tall, which is an advantage as a male ballet dancer. And so, it can be a bit of a disadvantage as a player, but it was talked about how he used that to his advantage. I don't think it's something he's got any ambition to return to, because he's not done it for a few years now, but yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And so John Barnes, apparently he's a fan of motorsport?
Yes, yeah. He set up a team in 2008. In
what motorsport?
Rallying.
So he set up a rally team. Right,
Yeah.
Okay, this is sounding fishy, but why is the next question?
As far as I can work out, boredom.
Right, okay.
Well, actually, that's not quite true. It was to help young Jamaicans
into rallying,
into motorsport. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he set this up in Jamaica, presumably.
No, I think it was in this country. It was with it wasn't by himself. It was with a couple of others. Les Ferdinand
What?
and Luther Blissett. Do you remember Luther Blissett?
No.
He used to play for Watford.
Right. Okay.
As did John Barnes. So that's it was to help young Afro-Caribbean enthusiasts get a break in motorsport.
Right. Okay. And so John Barnes is passionate about motorsport.
He's passionate about young Afro-Caribbeans. Yeah.
But why motorsport? Does he explain why that particular sport, as opposed to any of the other sports?
I think he must have a passion enough for it that it seemed a more viable route than football.
Which of course would have been the obvious thing to do.
For free former footballers, yeah, probably.
Excuse me. Right, I think I'm going to move on from that one. So the last one again. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Ray Clements once had his own brand of squash.
Right, what was it called?
It was called Oranges and Clements.
No, it wasn't. Right, okay. And when did this happen?
This happened at the height of his fame, so in the late 70s.
Okay, and it was just one flavour, I'm assuming.
Yeah, orange.
Right, so he made one random squash. Now, was this was he just the brand advocate for it as opposed to actually making it?
Sort of. Do you remember salt and Lineker crisps?
Yes.
It was a bit like that, but for squash.
Right. Okay. Why did this happen?
Well, he signed a deal with Robinsons,
right.
Who were keen to make more advertising headway. So they obviously, he was sort of England keeper at the time. He was playing for the most successful team in England. So he was the first one to go for. It was a bit like the Joe Hart dandruff advert of its day. And there was quite a famous advert, which you can watch on YouTube now if you want. Obviously, it'd be cheating to look it up now, but which is him just stood in the goal with not much action. And so he turns around talking to fans, and one of them pours a glass of squash and gives it to him, and then he just stands there leaning against a post drinking a glass of squash.
That sounds weirdly familiar. I believe. I don't know now. Oh no. Okay. I really, really, really want the John Barnes thing to be true, but I just can't believe it. I just there are so many flaws in that story that. Thing is, I was very wrong about the Nathan Eccleston one as well. So I doubt myself completely now. So, I didn't believe the Ray Clements one, but now I do. What was the first one again?
The first one was Martin Kelly was accepted for a place at Royal Ballet School.
I'm going to go with Ray Clements.
Oranges and Clements?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you. You're wrong.
Not again.
Yeah.
Who was it?
It was John Barnes.
It can't be true.
It was.
That cannot be true.
It was called Team 48 Motorsport.
John Barnes and Les Ferdinand.
Yeah. And Luther Blissett.
I can't. What? Why was it? What?
It was called Team 48 because it was in reference to the 1948 arrival of the SS Windrush from Jamaica and the wave of Caribbean immigration it sparked.
That's just so bizarre. Man, yours are way better than mine. Oh, I'm not very good at this game.
No, it's
I
good,
keep
man. It's
not
good.
believing the most believable one. Or the vice versa. Right, are you ready for the final round?
I am.
Okay, so be prepared to be disappointed. Here we go. Statement number 1. Adam Lallana can speak half-decent Danish and has even made a background cameo in a Danish TV show. Number 2. Adam Lallana's paternal grandmother was an ex-spouse of former Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson. Statement number 3. Adam Lallana was signed to be a fashion model.
Ooh. Those are, again, see, you say you're not good at this. These are very good because outlier there. They are entirely plausible. The Sir Alex Ferguson one intrigues me. So that was his paternal grandmother.
Paternal grandmother, yeah.
So Adam Lallana's a couple of years younger than us.
Yep. Older than us, sorry.
Is he?
He's 28, 29.
Okay. Alright, so his mum would be about, let's say, pushing 60. So his grandmother would be, getting on for 80 odd. So she'd be a couple of years older than Alex Ferguson.
Yep.
But how old was Alex Ferguson at the time of a dalliance in question?
Oh, this was apparently a long time ago. This was like when they were both in their sort of early 20s. He was a footballer in Scotland, and she was Scottish too, and they met. I didn't be able to find the whole story, but yeah, they were going out for like a year in their 20s apparently.
See, that's quite a long time to go out with each other in those days and not stay together. But then I suppose if you're a footballer, you'd be having an irregular existence. Something does ring a bell about Adam Lallana having a Scottish background.
Yeah, because as you said, he was born in Bournemouth, but some of his family are Scottish.
Yeah, it's a sort of. I get a feeling that's where he got his surname from.
Yeah. A
bit like Armando Iannucci.
Yeah, the most Scottish of all the names.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to that one. What was the first one was?
Adam Lallana can speak half decent Danish and has made a background cameo appearance in a Danish TV show.
See, that sounds like something he would do, but I can't think. Why does he speak half decent Danish?
So apparently he's got his not biological uncle is Danish. Do you know what I mean? Like his auntie is married to a Danish guy, and they live over there. So apparently Adam used to go and visit over there quite a lot, and picked up a few phrases and picked up a bit of the language. Was encouraged to by his parents in order to kind of develop, I guess. Apparently having more than one language is great. But he said in an interview that then when all these Danish TV dramas started coming out, he picked up a lot more because he knew a few words and a few phrases anyway, and he was able to kind of learn a lot more as a result of watching them and sort of reading the subtitles. So he now says it's half decent.
Half decent. So how did he come to be in one?
Well, apparently it was because somebody read this interview, or somebody had heard that he'd been talking about how much he loved some of the Danish and other TV dramas, and it's someone who's working on the show Borgen. Don't know if you know that one.
I've heard of it. Yeah, that's the one with the woman in the jumper. Yeah,
the woman in the jumper. Yes, unlike any other show in which women wear jumpers. They got word, and it was during one summer, and they sort of called him up and said, "Hey, do you want to come down to the set and be in the show?" And so he ended up playing a man at a bar.
Where was it being filmed? In Denmark?
Yeah, in Copenhagen.
So they flew him over specially?
Well, he went over. He went over to do it because he wanted to go.
Went over.
He went to visit the set and meet the cast and everything.
Right. So he did. Okay. That started off absolutely ridiculous and got more and more plausible. Does his non-biological
his uncle basically.
His uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does his aunt and uncle still live in Denmark?
I have no idea. I'd assume so.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, nice place to live.
I've never been.
Well, I've never lived there, but I've been on holiday. It's very nice, very peaceful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I recommend it. And the last one, he was a model. Is that right?
He was signed up to be a fashion model. Yeah.
When?
2014.
That's quite recently. It's So that was when he signed for us.
Yes, that was when he signed for us.
Yeah. Who was he signed up to be a model for?
French Connection, or FC UK.
That's UK. LFC UK. And does he still model for them?
Apparently not. He's still signed up with them, but he doesn't actually do any modelling officially for them. I think he's more like a brand ambassador or something. So he wears FC UK clothes and things and talks about them, but he doesn't actually model per se.
Okay. What sort of modelling was he doing? Like proper modelling or like hand modelling or?
No, proper modelling. So he took wearing the latest fashions and lines, and there are photos of him in the jumpers and the kind of the sort of slack chino things. I'm not very good at fashion, sadly. Interviews done with him on the website where he's talking about why he likes French Connection so much. I
mean, that's quite convincing when you said wearing the latest lines, because he is a teammate of Nathaniel Klein.
Exactly.
That's like two different clubs. So maybe that's why Klein moved to Liverpool. I only ask about the hand model because obviously a hand model is a job that has been featured on the Plastic Scousers podcast quite a lot.
It has, yeah. Hasn't made an appearance this year yet. I'm sure it will.
Well, maybe this is the one. They are all very plausible. What was the first one again?
Adam Lallana can speak half decent Danish.
No, sorry, the second one.
Adam Lallana's paternal grandmother and ex-spouse of former Man United manager Sir Alex Ferguson.
See, despite thinking he is Scottish, I'm going to discount that because I think I think it would be too long ago. I don't think Alex Ferguson is old enough to be Adam Lallana's granddad, and Adam Lallana is older than I thought he was. So I really want it to be the Danish one, and actually I would have said the model one, but the explanation for the Danish one seemed so much more detailed than the modelling one. But I'm leaning to. I'm gonna say he speaks half decent Danish.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
It's incorrect.
Oh.
It's the model.
Damn it.
It's the other one. No. He was signed up for FC UK in 2014, just before he joined us. And there's interviews with him for Esquire magazine where he talks about how he likes their clothing and things. And there are all those photos of him as a proper model. I mean, I'm not surprised. He's a good-looking chap, so surprised you didn't think of that.
Well, I did. I just surprised I don't remember it because that's really recent. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Borgen was a bit longer ago. It was damn, that's annoying.
Sorry, I made that one up.
So it's well made up. So what was the final score on that? 1-1.
1-0 to you.
Is it?
Yeah, because you got one of mine right. I got none of yours right.
Do you not get a point if the other one doesn't get it right?
Well, either way, I'd still lose.
That's true. Yeah. Yes, I suppose.
You'd be 3-1 to the good.
But yeah, next time I'll work out a proper score.
Yes, for now we know you won. That's fine. And that brings us to the end of the Plastic Scousers podcast for the month of February. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to get in contact with us about anything you've heard over the last couple of hours, you can on our Twitter handles. I am at MTH Simpson.
I am at OGB Collins.
Or, of course, you can reach us on our P Scousers Twitter handle or at Keegan's Veg for our parody account.
Yes. What's the handle for Keegan's Veg?
At Keegan's Veg.
Fair enough.
Very simple. We also have a YouTube channel. And most importantly, on iTunes, if you are listening to this through iTunes, please hit that subscribe button. That is the most important thing of all.
Or one more Twitter account to follow is at NEccleston39.
For all your latest conspiracy theory news.
Absolutely.
Yes, or your information about the Hungarian second division.
Probably more likely these days.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, thank you very much for listening, and thank you to you, Owen, of course.
Thank you to you, Matt.
And
it's been a good month.
Yeah, it has been a good month. And hopefully more success in March in the Champions League and Premier League.
Yes, a lot to look forward to still.
Exactly. So until then, we're signing off, and we'll hear you next time.
Hear you in March.
Oh, I am a Liverpudlian, and I come from the Spying Cup. I love to sing, I love to shout, I get thrown out quite a lot. We support the team that's dressed in red. It's a team that you all know. It's a team that we call Liverpool, and to glory we will go. We've won the league, we've won the